Iron Creek was a town built on greed. The silver mines carved into the hills spat wealth for a few and death for most. The main street was a crooked line of saloons, gambling halls, and ramshackle shacks leaning against each other like drunks. Every payday, the miners poured out of the shafts with coin in their pockets, and every night the outlaws took it from them. The law didn't reach this far west. If a man wanted justice, he carried it on his hip. A lone figure appeared on the horizon, riding slow but steady. The desert sun burned his shoulders and dust clung to his coat, but his seat in the saddle was straight, unbent. His horse, a scarred dun gelding, moved with the weary grace of an animal that had crossed more miles than most men lived to see. The rider's name was Maddox. To strangers he was just another drifter, hat pulled low, eyes hidden in shadow. But to the few who remembered, he was once part of the Crawford gang, one of the most notorious outlaws in these parts before betrayal left him bleeding in the dirt, and his name marked for death. He tipped his hat to the sun, squinting against its glare. It was the late 1800s, and the small town of Iron Creek was booming. Wells Fargo had just announced a new stage line through the settlement, and business was good. Not that it would last. Stage lines brought law and order to outlaw country. Outlaws were hanged, and the hangman was paid. Cole wasn't interested in sticking around to see it happen. He'd seen enough law and order to last a lifetime. He'd even been a deputy sheriff once. In Tombstone, he'd put the badge back on when he had to, but that was all behind him now. Or was it? The bartender slid him a dirty glass of water, the ice cubes rattling like dice in the bottom. "You look like a man with a sad face," the bartender said, wiping down a glass with a rag that had seen better days. "Been a long ride," Cole said, taking the glass and tipping it back. The water was cold and sweet on his tongue. "Where are you headed?" the bartender asked. Cole looked at the man, his eyes narrowed. "Doesn't matter. Seems like you're carrying a lot of weight on your shoulders," the bartender said, nodding toward the door. "Why don't you come on back here and let me fix you up a stiff drink?" Cole hesitated, then nodded his thanks and followed the bartender through the swinging doors. Maybe he did need a stiff drink, or maybe he needed to get out of Iron Creek before the past caught up with him. He pushed open the doors and stepped out into the street, squinting against the glare of the midday sun. A stiff drink sounded pretty good right about now. But first he needed to find some place to stay the night. Then he'd decide what to do next. Iron Creek wasn't on his list of favorite places, but sometimes a man had to go where the work took him, even if it meant riding into the mouth of hell itself.
The bartender slid him a card. It was marked with a skull and crossbones and the name Jericho. Cole pocketed it, figuring it was a calling card for the local undertaker. Business must be good when death comes a-callin'. A shadow fell across the table. "You don't look like you're from around here, stranger." The newcomer was tall, lean, his face weathered and scarred like a roadmap of a hard life. His eyes were the color of the sky after a storm, hard and cold. Cole met his gaze. "I'm here for Ethan Crawford." The man chuckled, a harsh, humorless sound. "So, I gather, heard tell you were coming. Figured I'd beat you to him, but I reckon I'm too late. You know him?" "More than I wish," the man said, taking a swig of his drink. "Name's Jericho." He extended a hand. Cole took it, noting the strong fingers, the calluses, the dirt under the nails. This man wasn't all talk. He had the feel of one who did his own dirty work. "Cole," he said, his voice as hard and dry as the desert wind. "So, Jericho, you gonna help me find him, or do I need to keep looking?" "Depends on what you got in mind," Jericho said, his eyes gleaming. "What's your game here, stranger? You looking to hang Crawford, or maybe take him down to the station house?" "He killed my brother," Cole said, his jaw tight. "Killed him in cold blood." "Yeah, I know what Crawford's like." "No, he didn't do it." Cole slammed his fist on the table, making the glasses jump. "You know damn well he did. Now hold on there, son. Let's not get hasty. We don't even know if he did kill him." A voice cut in. All eyes turned to the newcomer, tall, broad-shouldered, his face hidden in the shadows of his Stetson. He walked with a limp, favoring his left leg. The man stopped a few steps away, his eyes boring into Cole. It was self-defense, the man said. Crawford wouldn't have killed him if he hadn't had to. Oh, would you look at that? Jericho said, rising to his feet. It's the big enchilada himself. Howdy, Sheriff. The man in the shadows tipped his hat. Evening, Jericho. Then he turned back to Cole, extending a hand. I'm the sheriff! Now, how about we start over?
At the far table sat a broad-shouldered man with a scarred cheek. He was shuffling a deck of cards with lazy precision. Up close, the rasp of his knuckles on wood was deafening. When he looked up, he met Cole's gaze and smiled a slow, cold smile. Well, I'll be damned, the man drawled. If it ain't Maddox, crawling back from the grave. Cole's jaw tightened. His hand brushed against the worn grip of his Colt. You take me to Crawford. Maddox, the scarred man chuckled, tossed a card onto the table. Or maybe I'll just put you back in the dirt where you belong. The music from the piano abruptly stopped. Chairs scraped. Men moved out of the way, sensing what was about to happen. Cole stood still, waiting. The saloon heavy with silence, the only sound the ragged breaths of men moving in the shadows. The scarred man's hand twitched toward his holster. But Cole was faster. His Colt cleared leather, barked thunder, and the scarred man toppled backward with a hole in his chest, cards scattering across the blood-soaked floor. The crowd scattered. Shout rose above the din of boots pounding on wooden floors as men scrambled for cover. Cole holstered his Colt slow, calm as the dust settling around him, the air thick with gunpowder and the coppery tang of blood. I'll find Crawford, he said to no one in particular, and I'll end him.